Have you ever wondered why you can finally get something you've wanted for a long time and still feel like something is missing? You get the money, the job, the relationship, the attention, the achievement. For a moment, you feel satisfied. And then, almost immediately, your mind says, "What's next?" It's as if we're constantly running toward a finish line that keeps moving. But what if Jesus was trying to teach us something about this? Something we often miss. During his time on earth, Jesus met people who were chasing many of the same things we chase today. Some wanted wealth, some wanted power, some wanted recognition, some wanted to be respected by everyone around them. And Jesus repeatedly asked them to look deeper. He once told a story about a rich man whose land produced an enormous harvest. The man had so much that his storage buildings couldn't hold it, so he made a decision. He would tear down his old barns and, finally, relax. He believed that once he had enough, he would finally have peace. But there was a problem. He had spent so much of his life preparing for tomorrow that he had forgotten to live today. And isn't that what we sometimes do? We tell ourselves, "I'll be happy when I get that job. I'll relax when I have enough money. I'll enjoy life after I become successful. I'll spend time with my family when things become less busy." But what if that day never comes? What if there is always another goal, another promotion, another purchase, another number, another person to impress? Jesus wasn't saying that money or success were evil. He was warning people about something much more dangerous, believing those things could give your life meaning. Because possessions can make your life comfortable, but they cannot tell you why your life matters. And that's a question worth asking. Who would you be if nobody applauded you? Would you still believe you had value? If you stopped comparing yourself to everyone around you, what would you actually want from life? Jesus offered a different definition of success. Not, how much can you get? But, what kind of person are you becoming? Because you can become rich and still be empty. You can become famous and still be lonely. You can become powerful and still be afraid. But you can also live a simple life and leave behind something that money can never buy. Love, kindness, forgiveness, faith, and the lives of people you helped along the way. Maybe that's why Jesus spent so much time with ordinary people. He wasn't impressed by status. He saw value where society didn't. And perhaps that's the first lesson. You do not need to become extraordinary before your life becomes meaningful. Your life already matters. Jesus once said something that sounds simple, but becomes much harder when you actually try to live it. Love your neighbor as yourself. We have heard those words so many times that they can almost lose their meaning. But imagine what they really demand from us. It means noticing people. Not just the people who can help you. Not just the people you like. Not just the people who agree with you. Everyone. The person sitting alone. The friend who suddenly became quiet. The family member who keeps saying they're fine, even though you know they're not. The stranger who needs help. Because sometimes, the greatest thing you can do for another person isn't something dramatic. Sometimes, it's simply being there. Jesus understood something about people that we often forget. A person doesn't always need you to solve their problems. Sometimes they need someone willing to listen. Sometimes they need forgiveness. Sometimes they need encouragement. Sometimes they simply need to know that somebody sees them. And that leads to one of Jesus's most difficult teachings. Love your enemies. Think about that. Not tolerate them, not defeat them, not get revenge on them. Love them. That's incredibly difficult because when someone hurts us, our instinct is usually to make them feel the same pain. They insult us, we want to insult them back. They betray us, we want revenge. They hurt our pride, we want to hurt theirs. But Jesus offered another path, forgiveness. Not because what happened didn't matter, not because you have to trust someone who hurt you, and not because you should allow someone to keep harming you. Forgiveness means something deeper. It means refusing to let another person's actions control the person you become, because anger can become an invisible prison. You can leave the situation and still carry the person with you for years. You replay the conversation. You imagine what you should have said. You think about what you could have done differently, and every time you remember it, the wound opens again. Jesus challenges us to put the burden down, not because the other person deserves it, but because you deserve peace. And maybe someone listening right now has been carrying something for years. A betrayal, a broken friendship, something your parents said, something someone did to you, an apology you never received. You may not be able to change what happened, but you can decide whether it gets to control the rest of your life. Forgiveness doesn't erase the past. It simply stops the past from owning your future. And then Jesus takes this even further. He teaches us not to judge people too quickly, because we are incredibly good at seeing someone else's mistakes, while being surprisingly blind to our own. We see someone's worst moment and decide that's who they are. But we know our own story. We know the mistakes we've made. We know the things we regret. We know the moments when we weren't the person we wanted to be. And yet, we still hope other people will see something good in us. Maybe we should offer them the same mercy. That doesn't mean ignoring wrongdoing. It means remembering that a human being is always more complicated than a single mistake. So before you judge someone, pause. You don't know what they are carrying. You don't know what they survived. You don't know what happened 5 minutes before you met them. And sometimes, the person you are judging isn't asking for judgment. They are asking for someone to understand. Jesus didn't teach people to become perfect. He taught them to become different, more patient, more forgiving, more compassionate. And perhaps that is where real transformation begins. But there is one more lesson Jesus gives us. And perhaps this is the one we need most in a world that is constantly telling us to hurry. Jesus said, "Do not worry about tomorrow." At first, that sounds impossible. How can you not worry about tomorrow? We have bills, exams, careers, relationships, responsibilities, dreams, and an entire future that we cannot see. But Jesus wasn't saying don't plan. He was saying don't let tomorrow steal today. Think about how often your body is in one place while your mind is somewhere else. You're eating dinner, but thinking about work. You're with your family, but thinking about your problems. You're trying to sleep, but imagining everything that could go wrong tomorrow. And suddenly, you've spent today worrying about a future that hasn't even happened. Jesus calls us back to the present, today. This person sitting beside you, this opportunity in front of you, because life is not lived 5 years from now. It is lived one day at a time. And maybe you don't have your entire life figured out. That's okay. You don't need to know every step. You only need to know the next right step. Be honest today. Love someone today. Forgive today. Help someone today. Pray today. Do what you can today. And let tomorrow arrive when it arrives. Because there is something else Jesus understood. We spend so much of our lives trying to become impressive that we sometimes forget to become good. We chase followers, money, attention, recognition. But none of those things can answer the question, who are you when nobody is watching? That's where character lives. In the quiet moments, when you could lie, but choose the truth. When you could take revenge, but choose forgiveness. When you could ignore someone, but choose kindness. When nobody would ever know, but you still choose to do what is right. Those moments may never go viral. Nobody may applaud. Nobody may even notice. But they are shaping you. And eventually your life becomes the result of those small choices. So maybe the goal isn't to build a life that looks perfect from the outside. Maybe the goal is to build a life that feels honest on the inside. A life where you can look back and say, I loved people. I forgave. I helped. I was there when someone needed me. I didn't become cruel just because the world was cruel to me. I didn't allow success to make me forget where I came from. I didn't allow failure to convince me that I had no value. And perhaps that is what Jesus was really inviting people into. Not a perfect life, a meaningful one. A life where your success isn't measured only by what you gained, but by what you gave. Not by how many people knew your name, but by how many people felt loved because you were there. Not by how far ahead you were, but by who you became along the way. So before you continue chasing the next thing, stop for a moment. Look at your life. Look at the people around you. And ask yourself, what am I becoming? Because one day, the money won't matter. The attention won't matter. The comparisons won't matter. The things you were so worried about won't matter. What will remain is the person you became and the love you left behind. So don't wait until tomorrow to become that person. Start today. Forgive someone. Help someone. Tell someone you love them. Put down the anger you've been carrying. Stop comparing your journey to someone else's. And if you're lost, take one step. You don't need to see the entire road. Sometimes faith means simply trusting enough to take the next step. Because perhaps the life you've been chasing isn't the life you were meant to chase at all.
Perhaps the life Jesus was pointing toward was much simpler.
Love deeply, live honestly, forgive freely, serve quietly, have faith. And when your journey is finally over, may the greatest thing you leave behind not be what you owned, but the people who became better because you were here.